But to start with, we're going to hear from one of your peers. And so if you would please help me in welcoming Trevor Gaston to the stage. Trevor.
Good morning. I'm here to talk to you today about something I believe in. So let me ask you, what is a friend? You know, Aristotle says that a friend is a single soul dwelling in two bodies. Of the many things I've learned in life, the lesson of true friendship is perhaps the most life-changing. For you see, there comes a time in life when a friend becomes more than just an everyday acquaintance. He or she transforms into something much more than that. A friend becomes, in a way, a part of your very soul. A friend becomes like family. Friendship is so precious in the daily life of the individual. So precious, in fact, that without it, society as we know it would probably cease to exist. Friendship is one of the few principles in life that has withstood the very test of time. Since the beginning, it existed as an instinctive life skill that every animal on earth utilizes on a day-to-day basis. Again, a friend is a single soul that dwells in two bodies, which, when you think about it, is why when losing a friend is probably the most painful experience ever, because you're quite literally losing a piece of yourself. It is for that reason that you need to spend as much time as you can with your friends, because the time you have together is limited. And once that time is gone, it's gone, with no way of getting it back. Believe me, I know. Our days on earth are limited, so we need to utilize the time that we have to the best of our ability toward strengthening the bonds of friendship. I have always heard that family, church, and school were to be the three core covenants of my life. But in my opinion, the most important thing that a person could have in life is a friend. Sure, a family member like my mom will always be there for me when I need her. But when it comes to talking to my parents about serious and personal issues, it doesn't feel the same as it does when I confide in a friend. Henry Nouwen said that when we honestly ask ourselves which people in our lives mean the most to us, we often find that it is those who, instead of giving advice, solutions, or cures, have chosen rather to share our pain and touch our wounds with a warm and tender hand. The friend who can be silent with us in a moment of despair or confusion, who can stay with us in an hour of grief and bereavement, who can tolerate not knowing, not curing, not healing, and face with us the reality of our powerlessness. That is a friend who cares. Although these qualities of true friendship come from a parent as well, it's still not the same as when you confide your pain and struggles in a close friend. It is for that reason that, to me, a true friend is life's greatest treasure. A true friend, as Henry Nouwen defined, is very rare in and of itself. In this world, we as individuals make a great number of acquaintances, yet only a few of those are what we are able to actually call a friend who cares. It is those friends with whom we truly have a connection throughout life. For those of you who might not know me all that well, let me start with my own personal experience with the gain and loss of friendship. I'm a Texan, born and raised. I was born in Bedford, Texas, and later moved to Watauga, Texas, at the age of 2.5. By the time I was in the 4th grade, I already knew just about every kid in school, not because of popularity, but because of the friends I had. I spent both my freshman and my sophomore years at Central High School, a school of about 3,300 students at the time. In my freshman class, which was roughly about a third of the total student body, I knew about half of them, and by my sophomore year, I knew even more. However, of the hundreds of people I knew, only about 5 or 10 were actually what I considered true friends. They were the kind of friends who evolved into something much more than a simple acquaintance. They became like family to me. These friends helped me through both the good times and the bad, and made me feel that no matter what, I was never alone. Little did I know that my life was to be turned upside down as a result of 3 days of driving to New Hampshire when my dad got a new job offer. It surprised me how precious the time was that I had with my friends back home. By the time I realized I was to be leaving for New Hampshire, it was already too late. My time with them was all but at an end, and all I could do was say my goodbyes and give false reassurances of an eventual reunion that would most likely never come. My time in Texas was, and will always be something that I'll never forgive myself for wasting. because it's one of the few things in this life that we as individuals have the control and freedom to choose how it is spent, something that we can change in the spur of the moment, something that can be so easily manipulated that we sometimes cease to realize its importance in our lives, and that is what brings the most shame. Probably many of you have heard this at least once in your life. Our time on this earth is limited, and once that time is done, there's no going back. You may not realize it, but the time you have and the time that was given to you is a gift, a blessing. Now, the way that you choose to spend that time that you're given determines everything. Whether that time is spent towards improving academic standards or worrying about the petty struggles of everyday life, just know that every moment and every decision we make has a dramatic effect on our future. Believe it or not, these decisions define who you are in your later years, long after you're through with college. Earl Nightingale has a saying that goes along with that principle. Our attitude towards life determines life's attitude towards us. This is so true, it's scary. I tell you from my own experience to spend every moment that you can with your friends, because that time is all you get. You should make the time you have together a time so unforgettable you can recall even the slightest detail when telling your children and or grandchildren about your life adventures. Make the time you have memorable and take pride in the fact that we're still young with many years ahead of us. Rather than solely focusing on academics, you should make a good deal of time for your friends. Sure, with academics, you can get a great education as well as a well-paying job, but with friends, you obtain something much more than just financial gains. With friends, you get a greater sense of fulfillment in life. So, I suppose the repetitive moral of the story is simply this. Friends are the most precious attribute that life has to offer. So spend all the time you can with them before the hourglass runs out, because the time you have together is what truly makes life bearable. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor. Well said. And with 3 weeks until last chapel, and with the beginning of the end starting, seniors are starting to vote on different things. Your plans are coming together. And as you look around the room, for all of you sitting here, just to echo what Trevor has said, we're never going to have the same group of people sitting in the same seats again. So make sure that you take that time to spend with your friends and enjoy every moment and embrace it.